Homegrown extremism is a real threat, and we saw that as the U.S. Capitol was stormed, and the FBI believes extremists are making plans at state capitals across the nation.
But is there a threat in Nebraska we should be worried about? 3 News Now investigator Jeff Van Sant set out to answer that question.
What we saw in the nation's capital was shocking. Homegrown extremists invading the center of power in the United States. The attack on January 6 sparked a massive response. 20,000 guardsmen are now in D.C. as we head towards Joe Biden's inauguration next week. The FBI warns of mass armed protests at capitals in all 50 states starting this weekend and maybe going through Inauguration Day. So far, law enforcement say there's no substantial threat to Nebraska's capital or other government buildings. Extremists sharing fringe conspiracy theories is all too common online.
When you look at states near us that have similar demographic, geographic characteristics, Kansas, for example, there have been far more extremist plots, extremist arrests.
Dr. Gina Ligon, a UNO professor, is also the director of the National Counterterrorism Innovation, Technology, and Education Center. It works with Homeland Security, studying terrorists, those abroad and homegrown. She says QAnon and platforms like Parler fuel extremism.
When you believe that it's the end of the world, you're more likely to engage in what we call mass casualty violence, with the large-scale attacks, because you feel like you have nothing to lose.
The biggest groups operating in Nebraska are the Proud Boys, and another is an anti-immigrant and anti-Semitic group called Patriot Front. Both are considered dangerous.
They like to hide behind the nationalism banner that, we just love America. We just love our nation, and that's our deal.
Murphy Wolfgar is with the Anti-Defamation League. He monitors online extremism and says QAnon is uniting fringe groups with the spreading of lies and conspiracy theories.
The biggest takeaway is the complete disconnect from reality. Aside from the hate and aside from the extremist ideology and the viewpoints, is the fact that it is so far removed from reality, that it exists within its own bubble.
Since the D.C. attack, QAnon-related posts have been removed and Parler has been shut down. It's caused dangerous elements to go further into fringe sites. But when one app or site is shut down, others benefit. Since Parler shut down Telegram and Signal, both apps have reported millions in new users.
When you take away their ability to communicate openly, they're more likely to go into encrypted platforms like Telegram, Signal, places where you have to be a member to be able to get in.
It makes it tougher to keep track of what's going on.
So it's very difficult to study them. Also, from the law enforcement perspective, it's very difficult to see those threats.
While the FBI says there's no imminent threat posed to the Capitol in Lincoln, law enforcement are on alert. For experts we spoke with, it comes down to, if you see something, say something.
If you have a feeling about someone mobilizing to violence. So if you think about like what happened in Nashville, they knew that there were several people who knew he was working on explosives in an RV in his backyard. That's not normal behavior.
Jeff Van Sant, 3 News Now.
The Omaha FBI office is teaming up with local agencies to make it easier to report and monitor any potential threats. The FBI office has set up a command post to gather intelligence and continuously share information with the Omaha Police Department and other local agencies. They're asking for the public's help, so if you have any information about any potentially violent protests or events, you're asked to call the number listed right there on your screen. For more on this story and all of our investigative team stories, go to our website at 3newsnow.com. And if you have a story for our investigators team, email it to investigate@3newsnow.com.